ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app.
From the ECSI Sports Studios, the #1 sports information program in America, the Breakfast Bankroll, with your host, the sports broker, Jeff Dawson.
Good morning, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, Breakfast Bankroll, with good friend and colleague, Mr. Andrew McInnis, live from Cape Cod, a blustery Cape Cod. Got the nice hoodie on and my Army Navy hat. And speaking of that, happy Veterans Day. Thank you all to the veterans that have served and are serving for us to keep us where we are today. Without you, we would not have our freedom. And of course, today, big hockey slate. Me and Andrew have been talking for about 30 minutes backstage. We'll try to get 15, 18 minutes in before he goes live on Wager Talk. Go follow Andrew at McInnis Picks at Wager Talk and get ready for his live show. Puck time at 11 Eastern, 12 his time, I should say. But first and foremost, a shout out to our proud sponsors and partnerships. It's WagerWire. Head on over to Google Play, download the app. It is free. And of course, AtlantaSteaksAndSeafood.com. Steaks, seafood, chops, appetizers, wines. Terry's got it all. Just set it and forget it. Head on over to AtlantaSteaksAndSeafood.com. Today's headline: will the Leafs continue to fall in Boston as we are getting closer to winter here? So without further ado, let's bring him in, Mr. Andrew McInnis. What's up, Andrew?
What's up, Jeff? Good morning.
Good morning. It's wintertime. Here, some frost, whatever plants were alive are now dead. That brisk air, no snow yet, but how's it doing in your neck of the woods?
A lot of rain for us, which, depending on who you are, I guess you can ask yourself, would you prefer that or snow? I hate the rain, but I guess the snow means it would be colder out. So I guess I'll take the rain. But not too bad today, at least. I'll tell you what, in a different part of Canada, and we'll talk about their hockey team soon, Toronto, they had their first snowfall of the season here, Jeff, a couple days ago over the weekend. 340 accidents on the highway, the major highway, the first day of the snowfall. I guess people had to still learn how to drive, but the snow is here in some parts of Canada, at least. 340 accidents and reports of cars having trouble on the road. You got to love that.
Man, especially you're accustomed to this. Maybe it caught them by surprise. A good day for the tow companies and the auto body shops. Listen, we won't spend a lot of time on it. It was a snoozer of all snoozers. Crusher in fantasy football as well. ECSI VIPs on the wrong side here. Packers opened up -3. It closed. I saw some spots you could have got them at +1, 1.5. Especially after a loss the week before, 13.5 point favorites to Carolina. Didn't seem like you'd lose two in a row. You win a mano a mano. There's two ways to play the game. Roll the ball out against the Eagles, first one to 30 wins, or you want a defensive struggle. And I know the Packers are supposed to have one of the better defenses, but in a defensive struggle or tussle, I would lean the Georgia Bulldogs of the NFL and the SEC. Thoughts on your Packers now? Two losses in a row.
Just the consistency level wasn't there. The execution wasn't there. It was up for grabs. That game was most certainly up for grabs. They couldn't make the plays when they had them. Can't blame the defense. Cannot blame the defense after what I saw there. They did a great job shutting down some key passing plays. Micah Parsons with some key pressures. I mean, when I look at that play, though, towards the end of the game, I was talking to you about it on the phone earlier, about that fourth down decision. Look, I get it. Everyone's going to think about the fourth down, Marshawn Lynch, run the ball type of situation here. Well, this is the difference. They were on like their own 40 or like a 50-yard line or whatever it might have been. So I think everybody in that stadium and every single person watching on TV knew that on 4th and 1, they were going to go to Josh Jacobs. And the Eagles knew it too. They stacked the line and they absolutely stuffed the Packers. And in fact, I think Josh Jacobs ended up getting negative yards. So that kind of sucked. And then, of course, you somehow get the ball back and you're trying to set up McInnis for a kick. He's nowhere close to his range. Would have loved to have Cam Little on my team last night. That would have been a guaranteed tie game. And I think back to that fumble from Jordan Love before halftime, Jeff. If he didn't fumble that ball before halftime, they might have gotten in field goal range and they might have kicked a field goal. That game could have been gone to overtime. But if I'm going to bring out the excuses, I will tell you, Romeo Doubs gets hurt with a chest injury. No Jaden Reed, no Tucker Kraft. A lot of guys are out. I mean, this team is missing a bulk of their key offense. Christian Watson, pretty good game. Nice to see Luke Musgrave with that nice catch, but this team looked banged up. And I was happy with my clients. We cashed on over on rushing yards for Josh Jacobs. I felt that no matter what type of game it ended up being, we'd see some consistency and from the volume for him. But they didn't really seem to have those big game players. And, I had a lot of Eagles buddies texting me yesterday, showing off, telling me what's up. But at the same time, to lose by 3 when you don't really have your best guys out there, it's kind of it's a wash, I'll say. I'm not happy, but if Romeo was even out there for the fourth quarter, I'd feel a lot better.
Yeah, and again, no Matthew Golden. My segue to it is Tucker Kraft was your offense on the pass and attack, and with him out now, and everyone else banged up, a tough sled to carry now. But you have a defense. You need Love and the OC to figure this out, or it's going to get ugly in a real quick. For them in a division that's very, very competitive, of course. Now the Lions have to travel to Philly, and I want to see if that line moved for 1 second. Give me 1 second here. Philly was 1.5 point favorites at home to the Lions, and I couldn't. That was the peak, the look ahead here. Come on, Clee, let's go. I want to see if it got any overnight movement, which it might have, it might not have. Survey says no, it stayed at 1.5. So 1.5 of the 48. We'll get to that at some point. Probably Friday on your show, of course. Before we dive into the NHL, big slate, of course, tonight. There's something called the Grey Cup going on this weekend.
There is, and there's one team that is hosting it, or the city is hosting it, but they aren't in it for the first time in 5 years. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers. I don't know why I feel bad for them, Jeff, but I do a little bit. You're hosting the Grey Cup this year, and you're not in it after you've been in the Grey Cup for so many years in a row. You've got Montreal. We've got Saskatchewan. Very interested to look at how this game ends up shaping up here. Obviously, these are the teams that had the buys. These are the teams that were sitting back and ready and rested. When you talk about health, though, and the injury report, the signs point towards Saskatchewan being the healthier team going into this game. And all year they dealt with injuries, but the more they piled up these wins, the more they were able to do a little bit of that NBA load management stuff and make sure their guys are rested and ready to go for the postseason. So Saskatchewan does seem to have that edge. Now, Davis Alexander, Jeff, as a quarterback for the Montreal Alouettes, has not lost a game as a starter in his career. That's dangerous. This guy's writing storybooks here with this. But I think a lot of people are jumping all over the Montreal bandwagon. And I'll tell you what, don't count out the Saskatchewan team, because you finally get Winnipeg out of contention. You take care of BC. And I think this Saskatchewan team is built for playoff football. They got the vets. They got the run game. And what did you always say about Saskatchewan? They're a bend, don't break team. They limit the big plays. And what does Montreal do best? They just make big plays. They go deep all the time. I feel when Montreal is asked to play a low-scoring dink and dunk game, they're uncomfortable a little bit. So very curious to see what happens in this one. Plain and simple, if the game goes over, Montreal wins. If the game goes under, I think Saskatchewan wins. Not to say that Saskatchewan can't put up points themselves, but it's a tale of two different ball games, two different styles. This is grappler versus striker type of game here. I'm looking forward to it. But I'll tell you what, I gave this out on my show, and I wish it was just the only play I gave out, because I actually had Saskatchewan first half, which was a late ad. When the number comes out, if it's around similar to what it was in that ballpark, I'll see if FanDuel ended up putting it up here. Let me try and find it just while we're live. The player prop here. Yeah, it's not there. But if I get a good number on AJ Ouellette, once again, the running back, I've loved him. He's healthy as can be. He's a wrecking ball. They're going to run the ball as much as they can against this Montreal Alouettes team. If your book lets you bet player props, I'd be looking towards him this weekend.
Yeah, I'm looking at right now FanDuel 3.5 for the 48.5, opened at 1.5 for the 49.5. So again, Saskatchewan money and the over to the under, money coming in on the under. So it will be interesting there. We'll talk obviously Friday on that as well. NHL tonight, big slate. Again, the headliner for us is, will the Leafs continue to fall in Boston as we go from fall to winter? Leafs opened up -136, Bruins +112, 6.5 under, -27 cents. Currently at the Circa. Good morning, Mr. Benson and Mr. Stevens. Toronto -133, the Bruins +119, 6.5 under. Kind of sort of looks first 1 to 4 here. The Bruins, when you count them out, next thing you know, they win 4 or 5 in a row. They're like, not so fast here. What the hell's going on in Boston, Andrew?
Yeah, look, Boston, I think everybody had them pegged to be like, bottom of the Atlantic Division? Nobody had faith in them. I'll tell you what, did you have Morgan Geekie as being one of the best goal scorers in the league this year? I mean, I guess somebody had to step up with Brad Marchand being gone, and someone had to play with Pasternak. But man, oh man, I did not have any faith in him. But one thing I got to give credit to is, number one, the coaching for the Boston Bruins, but number two, how they've been able to play as a collective. This team is steadily rolling 4 lines, and I'll tell you, one player that they'd love to have on the Leafs that's now on Boston is Fraser Minton, and he's a player that was a draft pick, a prospect, a talented young player. They traded away for Brandon Carlo, defenseman. It was a rare young prospect forward for an older defenseman type of trade. And Carlo hasn't looked great by any means for the Maple Leafs. And Minton seems like it's going to have a really great career. So that was a good quality trade there for the Boston Bruins. But this team seems to be playing with house money. Now, from a betting perspective, this team's cashing tickets, but I'll tell you, they've been a pretty good under-over team as well. You've been able to pick your spots. It was a big over trend, then it was an under trend. Now they go back to the over here. But a couple of quotes here. John Tavares, he says, at times we did some really good things, earned opportunities, and were able to give ourselves a lead. And then our game, for whatever reason, becomes immature. This is the captain. We don't manage the game very well. A lot of hockey to be played, but we don't really know what we're doing in our own defensive end. Berube, the coach, says pretty much this season, we don't value the defensive side of the puck enough. Turnover after turnover costed us tonight. We didn't check or hit anybody, and we didn't win any battles. Like, those are some harsh quotes. That's after their loss against Carolina. The interesting thing about this one, Jeff, is that Boston's playing Toronto for the second straight game, right? But Toronto played Boston or Carolina on Sunday. And Boston didn't have to play on Sunday. So you've got a double pissed off Toronto team in this game. Not just pissed off after losing to Boston. They're pissed. They like I'm sitting there and I'm watching the game and I'm like, Toronto's not going to make this smooth by any means. And you see Taylor Hall score, you see Stan Coben score, and you're like, oh my God, Toronto's about to blow this. And going into yesterday, they had scored the most goals in the entire league, but they had given up the second most goals in the entire league. Not really a recipe for success.
No, not at all. And again, the Bruins are on a roll right now, just like the Patriots, who play on Thursday, about 11 and a half point favorites against the Jets there. We'll have more on that tomorrow and Thursday. Big slate. I know you got a show coming up soon. Good morning, Mr. Dan Alexander and Wager Talk. But we always go to this segment of the show, pucks, props, and thoughts. Nice slate tonight, Mr. McInnis.
I got to say, Jeff, I do lean towards that Maple Leaf side today. I do. My gut tells me, though, after reading those quotes, maybe if I like anything, I also like towards the team total under for the Bruins. I'm not always a huge quotes guy. You know that. Like, sometimes I do come ready with the quotes. But this one did catch my eye with Berube. He bashed his team defensively. He said to the media they didn't even care about defense. So if you want the minus 135, 136 at Pinnacle, you can look to play that on the Maple Leafs. But you head over to the team total. You look towards the team total under, I think, for the Bees. Limit their offense plus 120, under 2.5 goals for Boston. We'll see if Stolarz can shut the door and they can play well, this Toronto team defensively. Going into the Calgary and St. Louis, look, the system play with the first period overs, it got off to kind of a bad start to the season, but it was because mostly the same team. It was the New York Rangers getting shut out at home. Well, they've now cashed back-to-back system plays. They got shut out at home, and they were off a shutout, and they cashed it. And they were also playing a team in Detroit that was off a game where they were shut out. So that was like a double system play. And then they cashed it last night. And you know what we're starting to see is that these plays, and we're seeing this a lot, it's starting to be very sweaty towards the full game over, but the first period over is hitting very easily. So it might not be a full game over look, but the first period over with Calgary and St. Louis, 5.5 the total. Some spots switch to 6. Calgary not just shut out in one of their most recent games. They've been shut out in back-to-back games. So that one is very intriguing to me. San Jose, Minnesota. Look, I really want to take the under in that game, but it's very hard to take a look at an under in a San Jose Sharks game just by what they're able to do, what they bring offensively. So if you want player props, I think that's probably the game that you look towards, Jeff, is the Minnesota game. I think we're going to get points. I feel like we're going to get guys involved. And one thing I always talk about with this Minnesota team is the power play points. And this is one I really like here. Matt Boldy, power play point, plus 220. You can also get his good buddy, Eriksson Ek, at plus 300 power play point. I know that sounds ridiculous. This is one of the top 3 power plays in the whole league. And if you go back up to what the actual numbers are for them to get regular points, Matt Boldy to get a regular point is minus 212. Eriksson Ek is minus 140. So you're going to switch that into a big plus price with those two guys to get a power play goal against San Jose Sharks team. I'm interested in that one. So those are some props that I like. And there was one more late night, Columbus and Seattle. I don't always go against teams second half of back-to-back. It's not an automatic bet for me by any means. In fact, I would have loved if Columbus beat the Oilers. That would have fallen into the plan a lot better, as you know, the fat and sassy angle. But I still think after that crazy game that the Columbus Blue Jackets had against the Oilers last night, you got a Seattle team sitting pretty, ready at home, motivated, and maybe an exhausted Columbus team coming to town. So give me the money line. We won't get fancy with this one. We'll take Seattle.
Well,
Maybe the first period. Maybe the first period could be a look as well.
everyone knows where to follow you, of course, Andrew, at McInnis Picks at Wager Talk as you get ready for a show. But tell them I know it's $5 Tuesday, but what else you have up your sleeve?
Oh, you know what, Jeff? It's a 21-7 NFL player prop run, 11-2 short-term NFL player prop run. So I know you guys know me for hockey, but we're really getting rolling with these NFL player props. And after losing on the Packers last night as well, Jeff, I think I'm just about done with the sides. I think I might as well stick to what I know and stick to what's working for me with these player props. And thanks to you, got my first winner on the board with college basketball. And that was an awesome second half, blowout second half win. So things are good. But yeah, one play, $5 at Wager Talk. But as we always mention, you can buy the day, you can buy 3 days, you can buy 1 week at wt.buzz/am. So thanks for having me, Jeff. It was nice to be on a little bit earlier today so we could have a longer show, and look forward to seeing you on Friday. And I look forward to hearing your Grey Cup thoughts. I know you got a pretty good track record. We don't have any +7 underdogs this year. We got a closer game, hopefully.
Yeah, I know. I'm on a nice little heater. I think it's 3 years in a row with +6s and 7s, and I think 1 year even 8. Nice money lines. So a lot tighter game, and it's going to be interesting as I'll be back with Andrew around 10:15 on Friday Eastern time. There. So for myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Investor, the one and only Mr. Andrew McInnis at McInnis Picks at Wager Talk. He goes live in 9 minutes. Make sure you go follow him. Everyone else, especially back east, bundle up and stay tuned.